Naivety is born when you're not well fed in all areas of your life. I actually had this idea yesterday while journaling and speaking about another video, but it simply means not knowing everything can lead to a lot of shit. In simple terms, if you don't know how things work, if you don't know how people work, if you don't know how certain aspects of life in the universe works, you're fucked. I've been thinking about this because I've been seeing a lot of people in my family, my friends, my schoolmates go through life, their days, their seconds, without realizing anything actually. They don't know what's right and what's wrong, and they just blindly walk, blindly talk, blindly think, and make choices and actions. I still remember I was that guy when I was super young, super stupid. I talked endlessly about my goals, my ambitions, the things I apparently had. I lied my ass out, but I didn't know where this was taking me. I couldn't see that cliff at the end of the road of this path because after the cliff is just a deep, fat crevice that goes to I don't know where, maybe death. But point is, I wasn't aware of things. I wasn't exposed to different things that could have changed my life early on. And that's the key point of this video. Exposure is everything. When I started doing this whole discipline thing, this grind thing, working out daily, working on my mind, reading books, I slowly started expanding that worldview. I exposed myself to the experience of others through books, podcasts, lectures, and that allowed me to see things differently. That allowed me to save time, a lot of time, in avoiding a lot of failures. When I first read The 48 Laws of Power, it's a book, a really good book by Robert Greene. I still remember how much it changed my life. I think that book itself saved me a good 20 years of life experiences, mainly failures. And it's a simple thing, exposing myself to that knowledge, just waiting for me to absorb it. What I'm realizing now in the present moment in my life, after focusing on the few things that I'm drawn to: human intelligence, sales, character, confidence, communication, building, skills, content creation, a bunch of things, is that this is another layer of exposure. Like, for instance, a simple example I can give you is I'm working out. I work out on my mind, I work out on my body. I'm this super so-called disciplined guy, you could say, put it simply. I'm strong, I'm lean, I'm good looking. Like, I'm gonna say it's true. But the problem comes when I'm out there in the social world. I'm in crowds, when I'm talking to pretty girls. It's weird that when you worked so hard to build this perspective, to build this body, this mind, these skills that you have, being in crowds and around pretty girls just make you collapse. And you know why that happens? Because I haven't been exposing myself. And that's called being naive. You don't know. You're not able to see things clearly in that situation because of the pressure. You don't know what it's like. Well, I will never know what it's like to be in a relationship with a pretty girl because I've never been in one. But I force myself to expose myself to girls, to pretty girls especially, because they make me fucking scared. But you see, I will never know. I still remember the times when pretty girls were checking me out and I would get scared. Also, ugly girls would check me out and I would collapse immediately. So it's that exposure. It's weird living a life of discipline and seeing these little external things make you collapse. It's pretty embarrassing, in my opinion, simply because of not exposing yourself. You don't want to be this super perfect guy who just collapses under everything. If I could make one change in my life, and I'm going to do that immediately, is just start exposing myself more to certain things that make me scared. Because the idea of doing this whole exposure thing is to be well fed. Like, if you don't understand a single thing till this point of the video, just see it in this way. You need to be well fed in all areas of life. Life is like eating dinner or whatever you want to eat. It's a huge dinner table, a bunch of food. You never want to show up to the dinner table every day feeling famished. You don't want to go through your life fasting and showing up at the dinner table, munching down at every single thing. And the catch is, at the dinner table, it's not only food. It's poison as well, and you never know what you're consuming. Simply because you're too hungry for a lot of things. You're too desperate for food. And the same thing applies to life. If you don't expose yourself to certain things, especially if you're a guy, if you don't expose yourself to leading groups of people, being around different rooms, different social circles, pretty girls, relationships, whatever that you're doing in life goes to waste. Because there will be a point when certain things just fall onto you and you just collapse. And some of those things are unpredictable. I'm not saying that purposely start a business to fail just to get that exposure, but shit like that will happen naturally. But what I'm saying is train the muscle of exposing yourself to little things that make you fucking scared so that you build more comfort under pressure, which builds that muscle of being able to be composed, to be able to handle pressure. So when the big stuff comes, whether it's starting a business and failing it, whether it's being approached by the pretty girl, whether it's being in rooms of fucking CEOs, you don't collapse. That's what I mean. Be exposed to everything. That's what you want to do. Because there isn't a point, especially if you're working really hard right now, grinding it out, locking yourself in your room, there isn't a point of just doing this whole thing, studying, applying, learning, doing, but you're not exposing yourself to more. You're not feeding yourself with the different things that change you. Because, like I said, wherever you're at in life, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Whether you're poor or rich. If you want change, if you want to feel more comfortable in certain rooms, you got to put yourself in certain rooms that make you feel scared so that you build that muscle and you keep doing it for different areas of life. And in my life personally, I want to be more comfortable with talking to people, being in crowds, seeing through my perspective. Because the most embarrassing thing is letting average, mediocre people scare me. That's so stupid. Like, imagine a guy who's obese, talks a shit ton about himself, doesn't watch out for anything, not even aware, works a 9 to 5 job, and he sits on me. Well, not sits on me, but he just walks over me. Like, even when it comes to girls, I don't want to be that guy who collapses under the presence of pretty girls. I don't want to be the guy who collapses under attention. Because I've been so stuck in my room, away from people, that I've been fearing all these social situations. Like, I remember all the times when I'm walking into crowds and people just stare at me. Like, clearly they're checking me out. But I get so scared and I collapse, and that shows. This, my entire body becomes so stiff. And that's what I mean. It's really embarrassing, especially when you're this super disciplined, hardworking guy and shit like this just happens. Nothing more embarrassing than that. So, once again, I'm just going to repeat myself. Be well fed in all areas of life. Don't make the same mistake I made. That's why I'm sharing this with you. Wherever you're at in life, make sure to be fluid. Don't just stay in your room and lock yourself up. Purposefully expose yourself to things that scare you. And specifically, people, social situations, because that is a muscle that will carry you forward throughout your entire fucking life. So, yeah, if anyone is watching till this point, thank you. And I hope this helped. Ciao.